next one is going to be radio ads. And so radio ads is going to have similar type of an impact as television ads, where it's not strategically targeted unless you're getting a lot of research and data on the audience that listens to a specific channel. You might be able to really target in fairly well, but generally speaking, it's all broad based, right? So TV and radio are going to fall into that same category, where you're really dependent on the viewers or the listeners of that specific channel during that specific time when your ad is going to run. So it's not the most targeted, but it's great for branding, it's great for name recognition, and for the most part, as far as like different media, radio ads can be pretty inexpensive depending on who you're going through, what type of level of production you're putting into them, and what time of day and what channels that you're actually getting on.
Yeah, speaking of radio ads, I used to work for Clear Channel Communications, and they had AM and FM radio. And what I found was a lot of real estate investors and even real estate agents, again, just like TV ads or YouTube ads, were advertising on the AM stations. And I figured, hey, there's something to that, and it turns out there is. It's because most of the viewers, you can look at any channel, you can even go online about that particular channel. Like I worked for a channel called 933 in promotions, and I worked for a country station and a couple other ones. I didn't work for the AM stations, but it was all owned by Clear Channel. There's, SK Telecom and Jefferson Pilot Communications in San Diego. But the AM stations were the ones that they all advertised. And how to do that, by the way, is to call the radio station, talk to their advertising department, and then just ask for a quote. Bigger metropolitan areas are obviously going to cost you a whole lot more money to advertise, and it also is dependent upon the time that you're going to advertise. So these are big ticket items, but I don't know if you have an answer to this question, Chris. I do. I could tell you right now who I've heard on the radio time and time again, listen to like AM 760 or AM 600 in San Diego. It's like political talk radio and stuff. I'm the demographic that's like, let me sell my house, and they're advertising. And there's one name in San Diego that sticks out that I know has done really well to build, like you said, brand recognition. Anybody that you can think of that you've heard on the radio? He listens to Spotify. See, that's the reason. He's in that demographic of, even though he might be older than that demographic, he's still relevant as far as the culture is concerned because he's cool.
I'm so cool, you don't even know I'm cool.
Me, on the other hand, apparently I moved to a really older community and I've just aged significantly. But Dan Beer.
I was thinking Dan Beer.
See?
I should have said Dan Beer, because
Yes.
that's what I was thinking.
Well, see, because it works, dude. You probably don't listen to the radio very often, but even if you flip it on for a second, it's like Dan Beer, like the delicious drink.
The reason I thought Dan Beer was just because he's everywhere else, right? And so, for those of you who are watching, Dan Beer does a great job of doing billboards, he's doing bus stop signs, he's doing radio ads, he's like all over the place. So in marketing, I have a background in sales and marketing and advertising, and generally speaking, across all different types of products that you're selling, it typically takes anywhere from 7 to 9, sometimes even more points of contact for marketing methods to actually reach the buyers that they're trying to attract, to get them to make a buying decision. And so, Dan has gotten to the level where he's actually doing that. He's going to every single method of marketing. So it doesn't matter whether you look left, right, up, down, anywhere, you're going to see him. Another guy who's really good at that, is not in the real estate space, but he's an attorney, is Attorney King. And his strategy, and for those of you bigger investors, this is something you should consider. And I only know this because of my marketing background, but there's what's called remnant advertising. Remnant advertising, specifically when it comes to like billboards and bus stops and things like that, it's basically all the leftover billboards and bus stops that haven't been sold through the beginning of the year, and you can generally buy in bulk and get a substantial discount. So there's an attorney back home in San Diego where that's all he does, is buys all of the remnant billboards and everything. So you'll see 5 billboards all along the 8 that are all the same, call King, call King, call King, call King. I've never had to call King, but I know if I ever need to call an attorney for that particular thing, I'm probably going to call King.
Nice. What's next?
So the next one, since we kind of pivoted from radio ads right into billboards, that was the next one. And then we also kind of layered in bus stops as well. Bus stops is another good one. If you're looking for lead generation tools where you can scale that model and you can develop clear KPIs and metrics. These first ones are not really the ideal methods of marketing in order to do that. These are things where you're just going to throw money at it and hopefully it works out. Hopefully it helps create a reputation for you in the community that you're already doing business. I would not get into investing and start with these methods of marketing.
No.
They're high ticket, and again, they're not directed marketing. They're more passive marketing, and it's more brand recognition and name recognition that you're trying to get. So you're going to spend a lot of money. You might not get any return at all, or you might not get any noticeable return. You know, it might influence some of your other paid methods of marketing or free methods of marketing that you're using, just because they might see something else that is more targeted and be like, oh yeah, that's the guy that was on the billboard.
Phil Connors? Phil Connors, I thought that was you.
How you doing? Thanks for watching.
Or, oh yeah, that's the guy that was at the bus stop. That name sounds familiar, or that company sounds familiar. So TV ads, radio ads, billboards, bus stops, all of those things, I would put those kind of like at the bottom of the list as far as prioritizing where you should be investing your money, especially if you're looking to scale a business.
Right, so when you get started, or even if you've been doing it for a while, at some point these are going to be marketing methods you want to consider implementing. It's only going to help establish your credibility in your local market. And you know, everybody knows this already, but it's worth repeating. Real estate, as far as markets are concerned, it's all local. You're not going to want to miss this next video where we talk about direct mail and how to do it right, and tips and tricks that you absolutely must consider as a real estate investor. So click this next video and get into everything that you need to know about direct mail.